Dear students, I am Raghavendra HM, Assistant Professor of English in Government First Grade College, Tumkur. In this video, I am going to present you the 6th and 7th chapters of Animal Form, the novel which is prescribed in the English language text of Tumkur University 3rd semester BCom BBM and BCA students. Now let us start the session, which includes chapter 6 and 7. First, we will have a small recap. In the previous video session, we came to know that Molly, the white mare which represented the middle class of Russia, departs from animal form. Next, we discussed about the rivalry between Napoleon and Snowball, how Napoleon opposed the construction of the windmill propagated by Snowball, and Napoleon's dogs attacked Snowball and he disappeared from the animal form. Napoleon became the only supreme leader of the animal form and he took the control of the animal form into his hands. But now the windmill project's work began. Let us start chapter 6 now. The construction of the windmill begins. It was once opposed by Napoleon and now it was boasted that it was the brainchild of Napoleon himself and Snowball was secretly opposing it. Animals worked hard. They worked even on Sundays also. Actually, Sunday was meant for rest, but now they were forced to work even on Sundays. And 6 hours extra work per week exclusively for the construction of the windmill was also decided. So now the animals were forced to work a lot, but at the same time they could not be fed properly. So the Napoleon and his administration failed to provide complete food, proper food to the animals. The main problem in the construction of the windmill was the big stones. There were a few big stones and no animal could move it. But later on, Boxer, the strongest animal in the animal form, he was a workhorse. He somehow worked extra hours to break the stones and remove it from the path. Animals were very much impressed by the work of the Boxer, the horse Boxer. But Napoleon's administration couldn't provide enough food even to the Boxer. Of course, they couldn't provide enough food to the animals, and especially the hard worker Napoleon was also made to starve. In the next part, we came to know that trade with humans began. They started even using money. The administration of Napoleon, that is, pigs, started using even money, which was actually against to the 7 commandments of animal form. Napoleon started selling hay and eggs to human beings because he argued that to solve the food shortage in the animal form, he had to sell the hay and the eggs. A human being named Mr. Whymper was appointed as a mediator between Napoleon and other human beings. And this man, Mr. Whymper, a human being, he won the heart of Napoleon by always praising him. In the next part, we will see that everywhere the superiority of pigs prevailed. Now they use house again, which it was against to the principles 7 commandments. They sleep in beds, which was also against to the 7 commandments. Now windmill was ready after a few months. Unfortunately, within short time of the construction of the windmill, it was destroyed. A storm destroyed the windmill, which was a very unfortunate thing that happened to the animals of the animal form. Squealer, the right hand man of Napoleon, now blamed Snowball for this. So he said Snowball had destroyed the windmill when they were asleep. Actually, we don't know if Snowball is still living or dead, but unnecessarily Squealer blamed the Snowball, which all political leaders do. They blame their oppositions. In chapter 7, reconstruction of the windmill begins. As it was already destroyed by the storm, now Napoleon decided to reconstruct the same windmill once again. But the winter cold makes the work harder for animals. They have to build 3 feet thick wall around the windmill to withstand any storm. It was a suggestion given by human experts that the walls of the windmill were very thin, so now they decided to construct 3 feet thick wall. So naturally, the work was also difficult for them. As usually, Boxer and Clover worked very hard for the second time also. Again, the food shortage continued. The ration was reduced further, and the fear of death by starvation lurked in animal form. Then Napoleon decided to sell even more eggs to provide food to the animals. Actually, he was not providing any food to the animals, but he was going on spending the money for his comforts. The hens now opposed it because they were opposing the eggs were nothing but it was laid by hens, so they opposed it and they revolted against the decision. But you know 9 hens were declared uh, guilty, were declared as traitors, and they were executed by the construction of by sorry the administration of the Napoleon. Now Napoleon's blame game began. Snowball was blamed for stealing the eggs to also the corn and milk. Next, Boxer and other animals were upset over simply unnecessarily blaming Snowball, but unfortunately they could not open their mouth against Squealer and Napoleon. Squealer even attempted to convince them. So he tried to convince that it was the work of Snowball, but no animal were convinced. Actually, they were very angry, but they could not say anything against it. In an important decision, a, an assembly was organized in the animal form because 4 pigs who opposed Napoleon's administration were punished in the assembly. Even a few ducks and sheep were given death sentence for treason. Actually, it was against again same the 7 commandments of animals. So one of the commandments says no animal should kill other animal, but it was not followed at all. The commandments were completely neglected in the administration of the Napoleon. Animals really opposed what Napoleon did. And in another very important decision, their song, There is a very famous song, Beasts of England, Beasts of Ireland. The song was banned by Napoleon because it propagates revolution, and revolution is not necessary now because they have already got freedom. That was the argument of Napoleon and Squealer. This chapter totally reminds of the failure of Russian economy and the food shortage during 1930s. So this is the end of chapter 6 and 7. Let us continue the remaining chapters in the next video session. Thank you.